So, I'm not actually in prison. You might have thought so from my wonderful accommodation. But so many people sent me this article over the past few days. I just thought I'd do a quick piece on that. It's this Twitter abuse. 50% of misogynist tweets are from women. And then it goes on to sort of say how the campaign has opened an online forum to discuss ways to make the internet less aggressive, sexist, racist, and homophobic. And you sit here and think, how do people reach adulthood and still remain this naive? I mean, let me explain, son. And that action there sort of cuts to the heart of why these people are going to fail. Is so little of the way that we communicate is actually through the grammar, through the words themselves. Almost all of our communication is done through things like the voice, the modulation of the voice, the facial expressions, the eye contact. The facial expressions alone are universal across the whole human race. Everyone on Earth smiles when they're happy, including blind people. Right? This is pretty much a very hard biological wire thing, and it's a bit of a bizarre one as well, because most animals, when they show their teeth, they're aggressive. Not humans. Humans, when they show their teeth, they're happy. So yeah, you strip away all of that in the way that people are communicating, like they do online, when you just got the words on the paper. And the words on the paper can be almost anything. I mean, diametrically opposite type things. Let me just give you two examples. The first is, all you've got is the words. Joe walks into a room and says, "I'm going to kill you if you do that again." Is Joe actually threatening to kill someone, or is Joe talking to his son in an endearing way? "I'm going to kill you if you do that again." Walk in the house with muddy feet or something. Or, a similar thing. Bert walks into a room and says, "Timothy, you stupid nigger." Now, this could just be that they're very good friends, and that's the way that they bond, that they have that level of lowering of social boundaries, that they can talk to each other like that. Or it could be that the guy's just a racist jerk and is coming and using racial epithets and such like. You can't tell without the context, without some extra information. Now, almost always that information comes through things like eye contact, facial expressions, body language, and maybe the most obvious way, that's sort of halfway between what you get online and in real life, is road rage. With road rage, again, you're sort of stripped of all these extra channels of communication, so you have to invent, you have to create the intent from how they were driving. Is it that they did that on purpose and that they're being a jerk, or is it they did it by mistake, and so forth? And these things are rife for miscommunication, which is one of the reasons why you get things like road rage. And I would suggest you get a similar thing. You get bloggers rage, that people just sort of go off and rant on things that they read which didn't mean what they thought it meant. And then you add into this all the extra tiers, like, online, you don't have the, you don't have to interact with these people in real life. You're probably never going to see them, there are going to be no consequences for what you say, so there is, in some ways, a far more honest approach on the internet than there is in real life. People say what they really think about you. It's not moderated for sort of some political expedience or decorum or something like that. You're getting the real product online. If someone says you're a douchebag, they have the freedom to say that. They can say what they really want about you. And I would certainly miss that if that vanished off the internet. Now, this comes with some negative attributes. Like, for instance, the most obvious one is that there are people out there who just want to piss you off. you've offended them in some way, and they just want to piss you off. And so they have a series of things that they think will piss you off. So, if, for instance, you're a woman and they think calling you a slut will piss you off, they'll call you a slut. If they think that if you've pissed them off and they think calling you a nigger is going to actually maybe offend you, they'll do that. If they think calling you gay will offend you, they'll do that. They don't care about any of this. All they care about is that it offends you. Then, this is basically trolling. And there's only one way to beat the trolls, and that's not to play. Problem is that, of course, you really can't tell, because it's all online through Twitter, you can't really tell without the extra information from the body language and all voice modulation, all that sort of thing, what they actually mean. Do they mean that? Are they just trolling? Are they making a real threat? All of these things look identical on the page. Which brings us up to the other thing, which should surprise absolutely no one. Twitter abuse. 50% of misogynistic tweets are from women. Yeah, of course. I'm surprised it's only 50%, because a misogynistic man is almost an evolutionary non sequitur. That, by definition, if a man hates women, which is what misogyny is the hatred of women. If a man hates women, he's pretty much an evolutionary dead end. And just like with all evolutionary dead ends, you don't get lots of them in society. So you're never going to get a society where most of the males are misogynistic. It's impossible, because your species is gone. For women, on the other hand, there is actually something to be gained from tearing other women down. It basically goes into this sort of sexual hierarchy, and I've seen feminists give talks like this, that, you go into the room and you know where you are in a pretty girl pecking order. Right? Girls sort of naturally look around and they put themselves in the hierarchy. Right? Sort of a natural thing. And likewise, guys more or less do the same. And the girls at the top are the hot, sexy women, and that's where most of the competition is. And guys are fairly simplistic about this. They don't hate women. They try to get their attention. However, for the women who are not at the top of the pretty girl pecking order, there is every incentive out there to tear them down a few pegs, because then they're on a more level playing field. And I don't think that it is a coincidence that the only people who degrade hot, sexy women by calling them sex objects are feminists. I mean, men do not think of hot, sexy women as sex objects. They think of them as hot, sexy women. Whereas feminists, and only feminists, call them sex objects. So, likewise, this is, if you're just a general pattern that you can see. But women know this. I remember at college very vividly when I first really came across this. And what was that? I was with a girl, and we were just talking about a guy. That guy was in a relationship. And there was this other girl talking to him, and she knew instantly that she was trying to hit on him. To me, it was like, I don't know what the hell's going on. But she could read very well that she was trying to move in there. So women are just much more astute at reading these subtle body language things, because women are mostly their competition. Whereas with men, they're much more hapless, simplistic creatures when it comes to trying to get women's attention. And so you get all these truisms that spring up about, things like this. And So was it? Well, men are like kitchen tiles in that if they're laid right once, you can walk all over them for years, which is more or less true. One which is just more humorous, men are like toilets. They're all vacant, engaged, or full of shit. And then comes the one which women will hate, but it's true, is that a mind actually improves with age, which is something that can never be said for beauty. Beauty is almost on, and it degrades really quickly as well. I mean, so women are at their sort of hottest, sort of 18 to 25 is, so it extends a bit, but once you get up to 40 or something, there are no sex models, there are no sex icons once you get up into that sort of age bracket, and there's a reason for that. And I think that so with women there is this very obvious biological need to tear other women down, and it's one of those things that quite often the way these things manifest in your behaviour is, you've got a choice over it, but there are things that feel good when you do them and others that don't. And I think that's the way that it goes a lot of the time with women and the bitchy comments is deep down, they know what they're doing, they know exactly what they're doing, but it feels good, and it feels good for a reason. So that's this thing, Twitter abuse, 50% of misogynistic tweets are from women, along with this picture of a woman huddled away from her computer because someone had said nasty things to her online. And for those who are wondering about the rather Spartan accommodation, I'm at a rather interesting French nuclear reactor doing an experiment. And they didn't exactly splurge on the accommodation. There's not really much I can do about the sound in it. It's just the way it is. But whilst I'm doing this off the cuff stuff, the Indiegogo campaign was a great success for the thermal camera. I've ordered the thermal camera. It takes about a month to arrive, and hopefully I'm going to another much better nuclear reactor in about a month's time. Hopefully it'll arrive by then, and hopefully I'll get permission to use it there, because that would be kind of fun actually, so using a thermal camera at a nuclear reactor. So that's one of the things. And also, if you've got some preference, it's just candid type thing, about which pseudoscience you want debunked next, because there is just so much other stuff out there. So I give you whatever, the salt water powered car. What do we have? The Triton Gill, which now claims it's going to run on oxygen canisters. There's this guy who says he's going to give these bicycle generators to the third world, and it's going to be completely free energy for them. There's the Hyperloop, Mars One, the list goes on. So if you've got any pseudoscience that you want debunked, leave it in the comments below. Thanks.